Hello, everyone. I'm Ronan Unchained, and welcome to Commandos Chat number 2. I'm your host, Ronan Unchained, and I'm here with Teladia Plays. Teladia, how you doing?
Hey everyone, thanks for having me on your channel. I
Thank
can't
you,
wait to
man.
talk about Creature Commandos with you.
Right on, man. Yeah, folks, we are discussing the newest series from HBO and the first project out of DCU. We are talking. And just to give everybody a heads up, we are talking spoilers, okay? Episode 5, spoilers. So if you haven't seen the episode, go watch it. Come back, hang out with us. That way you hear our two cents about it. So, Talia.
Yes.
This week's episode is centered around Frankenstein, Eric.
Yes.
And we get a little more about what's going down with the professor and where the commanders are going out now into Pakistan. But for the audience right now, tell us right now, what are your thoughts on episode 5 of Creature Commandos?
I thought it was really interesting, but at the same time, I am not feeling sorry for a certain individual. I think he deserves what he got from the the first few episodes that we got to see him. I was like, nah, dude, you got what you deserve. You fully deserve that. I don't care whether you're Tom, Dick, or Harry. You got it, and that was that.
Right on. And what about what's happening with Rick Flag and that angle of the professor? Did you notice
I
the
like the
reveal coming?
bromance. No, I think that here's the funny thing. I thought it was the princess that
Mm,
that was going to be the reveal for Clayface.
right.
I wasn't expecting the woman to be Clayface, but
The professor,
I th-
yeah.
yeah, I wasn't expecting that. I thought, oh, she's just a random person that that have to cover up and try and destroy or eliminate. And I'm just like, what? But also, what's really I'm really annoyed about is James Gunn promoting Xbox.
You're not an Xbox guy.
I'm not an Xbox dude. I'm a PlayStation Nation guy. And when I saw that, I was just like, James, why?
What are we doing here?
Why? What are we doing here? This is not the time to promote Xbox. Xbox is doing bad. You don't want to be doing any networking with them. You want to be networking with go with the kings and queens of gaming, which is PlayStation. So that's
Boom.
my thought on that.
Okay. All right. And for the last quick synopsis, what did you think of the bride and Phosphorus going to town with the Pakistan and literally massacring basically everybody that we had trusted and become
Brutal.
friends with?
Obviously, I couldn't show when I did the reaction. I could not show the brutal killing and murdering and whatnot because of YouTube's policy. I'm just like, I was just like, what? No, like he got like one guard got obliterated one shot.
Yeah.
I'm just like, he didn't even get a chance to defend himself. What
No.
happens? Boom, that's it.
Yeah. Um.
So yeah,
So yeah, folks, this this episode, again, it's another episode with the whiplash stuff of just like wholesome moments. I put it in my description. Wholesome moments meets bloody acts,
yeah,
and um, what I liked about it, it was cool. The cool back and forth cutting between events going down. But I want to bring this up first with the Frankenstein stuff because I feel like Eric he becomes buddy buddy with Rick Flag. They got that bromance going and you already sense that like wait, you
yeah.
think being a hero means killing people? Like what the hell, what's wrong with you or not? And at the same time as they're investigating what happened with the professor, we see his flashback and how he was rescued by the lady in the lake with her dog Ivan. And it was such a sweet, like sweet, but not at the expense of his character, where he was just like, he's like, oh, that's gypsy bullshit, or saying, if I was blind, I would myself. And so I was like, what the hell? But there was a beautiful, wholesome moment that, like, in some
Mhm.
ways, she gave him another chance and an opportunity, and almost he found a mother figure in her. And I love the beautiful moment where, like, she says that, like, close your eyes, imagine your bride, and he closes his eyes and he's seeing his bride and the beauty that he sees her in. He says, I've seen more beauty than you can ever imagine. And I thought it was just a sweet moment for those of us who can't, who are impartial to seeing, who can't experience the worlds through their eyes, and yet saying that, like, I was imagining it and taking in what we think of it is probably just as strong, if not stronger, of seeing what we appreciate of life. And I thought that was just a beautiful moment between that character and Eric. And again, funny as hell, where he's like, I like the shotgun. All I gotta do is just point, and it'll do the rest. And I love that she was just like, we love having you here, even though you're a grouch. She's like, I still have the gun, woman. Do not tempt me. And I just, I love that the dance back and forth. But
No.
dude,
Yeah.
him going through the moments, her giving him the advice, and then this mother,
Yeah.
literally, I didn't click to me the name of the title, the Iron Pot, and seeing that act happen, I was like,
No, I was just like, at first you feel sorry for him, but when he pulled that, I was just like, nah, dude, you got what you deserve from the bride. I don't care what you might say to people. You got what you deserve.
yeah,
It's like it's like these types of episodes James Gunn is very good at.
mm.
Obscure characters, he knows how to be like, oh, you know what, I'm doing this. Or, for example, Weasel's last week's episode, you
Oh,
really did feel you felt for him.
yeah.
This week's episode, you feel like you want to punch her back.
Yeah, and some people have said that, like, it might have been a mercy kill for him because he didn't want to leave her alone and whatnot. But I'm like, no, 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 no. She just told you what
No,
she could experience in imagination, and you got away with breaking your heart that you're still chasing your old flame that was never your flame to begin with. And again, it's the weird thing of him building up a
session.
messed up moment and saying, "Oh, she was just playing hard to get. She was coy, whatnot." It's just that's how men and women do it. And we play hard to get. We don't appreciate someone just giving themselves to us easily. But the two, and then leaving Ivan. I think that's the dog's name, Ivan, out to scratch himself, and he's like, he wouldn't understand what I'm doing. And then he does that, gets out, and then whistles to the dog, and the dog goes with him. And it's just like, you killed the lady that brought you back, healed you. It became your mother figure for an instant, and then for insult to injury, you steal the dog.
You
you
take the
go
dog.
you go about your way,
Now
and I was just,
I
yeah.
do wonder if he's actually done the same thing to the dog.
I don't I don't want to picture that, and yet, sadly,
It's gonna happen.
it's not out of the realm of possibility. It's not out of the realm. Seeing his behavior, it's not out of the realm of possibility. Sadly.
Sadly,
Um,
yeah, but it's like I said. When I saw this episode, I was just like, no, dude, you're not getting no sympathy this week.
it's
It's like you get invested with these characters,
mm-hmm.
and it's like each episode is a different character's backstory. For example, GI Robot's backstory, you've kind of felt sorry for him, but at the same time, you kind of not, right?
Oh, I was hear this all the time. Nazis, neo-Nazis, boom, to get him out, get him out. At that point, I was like, whatever, man. But it was weird of, like, the take that society would go, like, he killed humans, and it's like, yeah, but they were Nazis. And then seeing in this regard, and again, it's almost, it's the goal of what the team of Creature Commandos, the directors, James, the showrunner, Bobby Pill's animation, that like, and David's work. He does such a great performance where you like the guy or you want to watch more of him, but he does these heinous acts that you're like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? And it's
But here's a fun
odd.
fact for you. Here's a fun fact for you. I
Mm.
actually know one of the directors that actually worked on Creature Commandos.
Oh, you do know him?
Yes, Sam
Which one?
Liu.
Sam Liu? Oh, you know him?
Yeah, I know him. Yeah, Sam
Nice.
Liu. I actually have had interactions with him via mutual one of my friends. So we went
Right
on
on.
history now.
He did episodes 2 and 4, and
Yeah,
I believe he did
episode
um
6.
yeah, and I think he's done other animated stuff and whatnot. Oh, speaking of guests, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Talking Commandos, man.
Yeah, talking
Talking
Creature
Commandos.
Commandos.
Hello, Felipe. But yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, I know he did Gotham by Gaslight, which I love. He
Yeah,
did The Killing Joke, which I like, but I know people have issues with it, and he's done a lot of other animated films that are in high regard. So it wouldn't surprise me that he would end up working on this. This is, I think, right up his alley as well. Howdy, gents. Hola. But yeah, uh, Frankenstein, fucked up dude. I think this might be the most heinous version of Frankenstein I've ever seen. Granted, I've only
yeah.
seen the Boris Karloff version. I think I've seen the one time when he showed up in the Island of the Chipmunks. I think I've seen some of the few iterations. I haven't fully seen all of the Hammer films iterations of Frankenstein's, which I know I got to get into. But James and the team did say they went back to the original source material of Mary Shelley's book, and sure they bring in stuff elements from Agent of Shade, the comic book stuff, which they introduced a lot of these characters in, but like it was more about the original text, the original Bible, if you will, of science fiction of horror that they went back to, and like once this stuff ends and I have time and I have that momentum of wanting to read Frankenstein, I'll probably go back and read the book and I'll be like, huh, okay, this is where this is from. Okay, this is where that's from, and seeing the
Yeah.
dynamic and connections between the show and the book.
It'll be interesting to go back and rewatch the first season, because we already know we got season 2. So that's the cool thing. We're getting a season 2 for Creature Commandos, which I'm excited about, because
Yes.
I'm just like thinking, what else can they explore? I would like to see a Rick Flag senior backstory.
Oh, you want to go back to the past with Senior and see how he came about and
Yeah,
how come he got his reputation of the general and stuff?
yeah. I think that would be a really cool episode. I think because we've done The Bride, we've done G.I. Robot, we've done Weasel, we've done Frankenstein. We haven't done Nina yet. And did we do? Who else have we haven't done?
It was just the Bride, Weasel, Frankenstein, GI, and that's about it.
Yeah, it makes me think, why haven't we tackled Nina yet, and why we haven't tackled, Rick Flag Senior? And I think personally they should tackle Rick Flag Senior's backstory. I think it'd be really cool to see him, how he left his family to go into the military, that type of thing, and what leading up to him to meeting Amanda Waller. I think that would be really cool.
I agree. I would love a senior backstory and seeing how it came out, because even again the helicopter guy that took Frankenstein to Belle Reve outside of him was showing him the grounds. He's like, oh, I know him. He's from back in the day. It was that Boy Scout. He and I go way back in this one mission. But yeah, for those who don't know, at this point, season 2 has been greenlit for Creature Commandos, and I don't want to say much except that like it makes sense. I love the idea that season 2 is coming about. But if there was no season 2 and it was just this one solid season 1, I would say it would have been a solid season 1 for me. But I'll touch on season 2 more. We'll get into season 2 once we talk about the finale later down the line in the
Yeah,
next few weeks. and then we'll dive deep into season 2 and my feelings and my thoughts for where this show can go
How do
forward.
you feel? How do you feel about the princess and the flirtation with
Ilana,
her? Yeah, how do you feel about the flirtation her and Rick Flag had?
I don't mind it. Now, again, I understand that folks, and sometimes I do feel it that I'm like, yo, I said it, I think, in the first, yeah, I'm pretty sure I said it like, yo, senior, you're pushing 50 and she's in her 20s. I guessed it was mid 20s. Later, I find out that it's probably closer to um, Milana's, or whatever her name is, close age, where I think it was 28, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I don't mind it. To me,
But she
and
doesn't
again,
look in her 20s though. That's the problem.
well, for me, she does in a way. It's just that her energy is so young that like at points I understand people being put off a little bit, but
Yeah.
5 episodes in, I'm like, yo, she's of age. He flat out said like, yo, he wasn't like he just went and grabbed her instantly and took her to town. It's like no. Multiple times for 2 episodes, he tried. We're like, no, this is inappropriate. We can't do this. That like, and he was trying his best, but it wasn't until she commanded and she was like, I get what I want. It's like, well, what else can you do, man? Like she fucking, she's a lovely individual, and it's just like I don't blame. I salute Cena for trying to hold back and being
Yeah.
responsible. But if if she's hungry like the wolf, then you gotta gotta give something to the wolf.
You gotta give something to. I like that
Um,
analogy.
but yeah, Maria Bakalova has been doing a great job as Princess Ilana, and
Yeah.
yeah, man, even her decision of like she said she flat out said, and it's a responsible response of saying like it's a damn shame the Commandos are going after me because they're being misled by their country, but we gotta take them out. Um, and in going into that side of taking them out, they get to Pokolistan, the Bride of the Commandos. They make their way into the city, and I'm gonna just show a quick flash of this image because we technically shouldn't, but I just gotta show you because it's a rated R series. It's bloody, it's funny, and should I show it is the power. But at one point, Alexei pull them on the side and says like, "Stand down! I will not let you take over the princess." And then, boom, that happens, and it's like, what the? Again, someone we've been following for 5 episodes, who's a friend, and then
I literally said this before as well. He didn't get a chance to defend himself. Like, come on. Like, come on. The dude did not even get a weapon to pull out, put a gun to their
well, a
heads.
gun. He got a gun. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't get enough time to do. Oh, I got quickly. He's no James Bond, right?
Yeah.
That's the best way to put it. He's no James Bond.
Yeah.
So
But Phosphorus did what Phosphorus did, and I think people were almost like, "Damn, Phosphorus is like does not give two f's about murdering." Which, who knows? Maybe it'll lean into if they bring up his past. But they get ambushed. They gotta fight their way out of the shootout. Bride is doing her thing. Phosphorus, I won't show that graphic, but I thought it was so metal and so unique that he had to like take all his clothes off. He flipped the soldiers off and then went through them like
like
heat,
butter.
fire to butter, exactly.
Yeah.
And ended off with the cool hero shot with the flame behind him. And I thought that was just like, wow, Phosphorus.
I was just like, he's going butt naked for this scene. And I'm just like, wow, butt naked. Really?
And
These
to
are some
me,
boxers.
I don't know about you, but this episode also gave me my newest favorite track that is part of
Yeah.
James Gunn's catalog. Like to me, Love Song 666 by the Urban Voodoo Machine, if I'm not mistaken, of the band. That song was just a riff, and I've been listening to it nonstop since the episode dropped, and since I may or may not have seen it early on. But you seen the bride pulls some dude's arms off, takes their gauntlets off, and just goes to town. And just that music blasting in the background is so beautiful, so dynamic, so badass that I'm like, yeah, man, the levels of this song hitting with the images is the same for me as, Come and Get Your Love, or Hooked on a Feeling, or Lakeshore Drive, or The Chain. And then you go to Suicide Squad, you get Hey, um, Peacemaker. Do you really want to taste it? And so, like, I love that this is, besides Moliendo Cafe and American Wedding, this is my newest favorite track that he's added to his catalog. So, what did you think of the rampage that the bride and Phosphorus
Un-
go about? Because Nina and Weasel go out.
Unbelievable.
Weasel's already been through enough. Nina is always the one trying to keep the peace, and she can't do much unless she's on water. But like, what did you think of the bride and Phosphorus just going to
Un-
town?
Unbelievable.
Mm.
The way they handled her. She's become the next. She's the Mrs. Rick Flag, as I call her, because the way she acts and behaves is like Rick Flag. You
Mm.
know, like, oh, I've got the weapons, I can shoot and get away with it. So that was good. And Dr. Frosma is just like, I can't pronounce the name, but um I just call him Blight simply because he's he's if, I'm a Batman the animated series guy, and that's how I know, like, that's where
That
this is from.
visual,
Yeah,
yeah.
the visual is from that. So I'm just like thinking, okay, he's Blight 2.0, and he, he does some really cool stuff. So
Yeah, the bride to me, from what I remember, she reminded me of Bronze Tiger, where like Flag was the guy in charge of Suicide
yeah,
Squad, but Bronze was like second in command and was the one there to help out to keep them in line, if you will. And so I love that she's taking up that role, and even at points when she's running, she's calling out, Nina, Phosphorus, making sure that everybody's okay, and like they're all split up because they got ambushed. And yeah, I love that she has this fire in her, but she also has this swagger. And like, kudos to Indira Varma, that I hope to God we could one day see her in live action. That would be such a cool thing to see her
that
with that
that'd
makeup
be
and
cool. That'd be
guns
cool.
blazing, if you will.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that'd be cool to see the bride in live action, but also the bride in video games. That would be cool.
Oh, are you kidding me? Oh hell yeah. Fucking just story mode with her and some of the other members, and seeing where they go about messing stuff. The lines they might give her in that video game, endless like dialogue. Oh, I'm here for it. Um, but yeah, that's that angle of the commandos. They shoot their way out, but they're still on the run. And now Princess ordered to like hunt them down. She's again reiterating she didn't want to do this, but she has to do this for her own life's sake.
Safety. Mm.
But rest in peace, the lady who helped out Frankenstein. We
Mhm.
saw the good in you. Thank you for doing some good in the earth, even though that bastard did that thing to you. Um, but we we find out, dude, that this lady ain't who she's saying she is. And to me that opening scene of what about the lesbians was funny, and I'm like, wait, what the hell is happening? And I love that the boys cut up to him and be like, that's not professional. But they do a stakeout, they go to the house, and they find out that that's not the Doctor Professor Minerva or whatever her name is, but that's none other than Clayface.
Clayface.
Um, I love the design. It's closer to the animated series design that I love. The animated series design is my favorite iteration design of Clayface. Um, but we see that happening, and Flag and Frank are trying to get out, but they gotta duke it out with him. And seeing
Well,
Flag hold his own, or quote unquote hold his own while still staying alive,
mhm.
and dude, we got Clayface versus Frankenstein. We got that in animation in the DCU. What the fuck is happening?
But you know what's also fucking weird
Mm.
is the fact that Xbox. I mentioned this before. Xbox got an ad in a DCU project, and currently Xbox is in crisis right now. I'm just putting that out there. So I'm just saying, when you see an Xbox ad in there, I'm just like, what the hell is DCU doing? Like, are they trying to say something to us? Are they trying to say that, oh, we're gonna be Xbox merge, we're gonna be, merging with Xbox when it comes down to video games? Is that a hint?
I can already see if in the next few episodes or the next project a PlayStation brand is marketed. I'm gonna see Teladia just like fist pumping like Arsenio Hall and be like,
I'll be like,
yeah,
I'll be
yeah,
like,
balance.
balance
Um,
in the force.
yeah. But what did you think of Clayface, man? What did you think of that?
Oh, Clayface is just awesome. The way he was portrayed in this was really cool design. His action scene was pretty cool. I also dig the fact of how he's like, it's pretty much the one to Batman the animated series,
Mm,
where if you electrocute him, that can, get
stun
rid of him
him.
basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's basically one to that. And it did take inspiration from Justice League Unlimited, or Justice League, one of the Justice League episodes. Remember, in the one of the Justice League episode, Clayface did turn into the Flash, and
Yeah. Yeah, and then Batman caught up to him because he overdid it. He overdid his Wally West swagger, if you will.
yeah, so
I remember that. Yeah.
yeah, but this guy, do I feel like it's a homage to that? Maybe it's a homage to that,
Okay.
but I'm still think that Clayface is going to be a prominent role in Creature Commandos for future episodes.
Mm.
Do I think, you know, in season 2 he will be a part of that? I think so. I really do think so for season 2.
Okay. Um. What else? I think that the brutality of him was perfectly displayed.
Yeah.
Um. If you're a nerd, you know what this moment was a reference. There was a little homage in this one to an iconic cover that they did do later on in live
Oh,
action. Which
yeah.
would you like to tell the folks, Teladia, what
This
this is
is
reference to?
referencing Batman breaking his back in the
Yeah,
comic of Nightfall.
yeah. Bane breaking his back. Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
Bane breaking his back. Yeah.
Which again, then Nolan did. I was wondering what would break first, your spirit or your body, and boom, that happened. And I again, we're talking spoilers, but some of us know that this is not the last time we will see of Rick Flag Sr. A lot of us who cover this stuff, we know this.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, how do we go from that to what's coming down the pipeline? And I hope I hope they're smart about this. I don't think they would do this, but like I hope this is not the last we've seen of this character because he's too good of a character to just be as a one-off, and he hasn't been displayed in live action yet. I'm like, I think it's time for him and others that haven't gotten the light to shine on them to display what they can do in live action. Even though it might cost a bit, they're worthy of that,
They will
and
see. Mhm.
they can say a lot of that stuff. So,
I think the bride for sure should have a live action interpretation, to be honest with you.
mm, yeah, I agree. Um, and Alan Tudyk voicing him as well,
Y-
which he did also in Harley Quinn show, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, he did in the Harley Quinn show. He did Clayface and Joker.
That's right, he did both. What the hell? That's kudos. I mean, it's Alan Tudyk, so it makes sense. Like kudos to him, man. I don't know how he could do any other way, but yeah,
He's a DC Legacy character. Sorry, DC Legacy voice actor. That's the best way
mm-hmm,
to put it.
mm-hmm.
Because he was in the Decameron and other projects as well. So
Doom Patrol, right?
Doom Patrol, yeah, Doom Patrol. So you can add that to the list.
Yeah, I dug the episode. I think it's in the middle spot for me of my favorites of the series thus far.
Yeah.
But again, it had that dynamic music moment with the Brian Fosters that I just adore so much, and we got this moment of duking it out. But Where do you? I mean, okay. So this is where I have to talk less, but I want to hear you talk more. Now, where do we
Okay.
go from this episode, Talani? Because we're now for 5 episodes in. We have 2 episodes left, folks. We have 2 episodes left before that's it for this season. Where do we go from here next, Talani? Play
Okay, so we gotta do Nina and we gotta do Dr. Frasper. I
flashback. We
believe
got to do Nina's flashback. Yeah.
yeah, we gotta do Nina flashback, and I think Frasper's flashback is next episode. So
Mm.
according to the promo it is, because I've watched the promo, so
Oh,
I'm
you
just like,
watched the the next week on the Commandos and whatnot. You watched
yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah,
then yes, I will give that little egg that next week is phosphorus centric.
yeah. So I'm just like thinking, okay. And it looks like Rupert Thorne is in that episode too, which is like, okay, okay, now I'm interested. You got
They
me.
put that in the trailers, dude, months ago, and I was like, you really want to put that out? Like, and again, it's a lot of this stuff with the next week stuff. I'm like, you really putting this out this early on? Like, I would imagine you would hold this back, but again, they're promoting it. So yeah, are you who? Well, let me put this out to you. Who's been your favorite? Um, who's been your favorite character thus far? And before you answer that, yo, Ronan, Teladia, Phil in the chat. I know Jeffrey. Yeah, we saluted him a little bit ago. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But who's been your favorite character thus far in the season, Teladia?
Favorite character? Oh, it's
Mm.
hard to pick. It's hard to pick. It's between the bride, uh, and I would have to say Weasel. Between the bride
Okay.
and the Weasel, because
Okay.
you feel for Weasel, but
Yeah.
also you feel you have that sympathy for him.
Yeah.
So that's why I've got like that feel for him. And when it comes down to the bride, it's like she got royalty fucked over.
Yeah.
Sorry, but she got royally fucked over because she was having a good relationship with her creator, so to say, and then it.
Uh, I mean, sure, it was her choice and whatnot. It's still a little weird, and also the thing
It's
that he was already married, so it just didn't. I
no,
don't know,
no, no.
technically
I mean,
unfair.
no, I mean not like that sense. I mean like
Her
them
first
get
love was taken
her
away like that.
first her first love was taken away like that,
Yeah.
and the fact that also the fact that he was teaching her things, right?
Mm.
And it's like, oh, you gotta feel for her too. It's like, but I don't feel sorry for Frankenstein. I do not feel sorry like at all. Frankenstein can go do one as far as I'm concerned. He can go down a river and jump in the river and go off a cliff because nobody wants to see his ugly mug of a face ever again. Um, but to be honest with you, I think like each individual character has got their own unique feel for them. Like Rick Flag, I've got a feel for Rick Flag because like the dude was like he lost his son, and the way that Amanda Waller brought it up in the first episode, yeah, it's like Amanda, you son of a bitch, can't believe you can't believe you brought that up to Rick Flag, right? Like Rick Flag Senior, just like the dude just lost his son in the last year, and you bring that up, so
Yeah.
you feel for him there. I mean, he's a badass though. He's got some badass scenes, so I'll give you props there. But I'm still iffy on the relationship with him and the princess. I'm a bit iffy on that. That's my
You're if you
only.
on it.
I'm iffy on it, but does it take away the negativity from the show? No.
All right.
So
I agree. Yeah.
it doesn't make me impact to say the show is rubbish or bad. No, because I'm still enjoying it. So and this is, by the way, just to let you guys know, I'm a Snyder fan. Crying out loud, and I'm liking the James Gunn project. That says something. That speaks volumes.
Yeah. I'm too a Snyder fan, but I'm not as what's the right way to put it, Teladia? I'm not as
Hardcore.
I mean, I do like his movies and that, but like, there's, and I would never limp you on that. But we have more friends that are also Snyder fans, but they're
Yeah.
not cultists, if you will. Like I talk to you when we get along with stuff, but I'm not a Snyder cultist. So like at this point, if I'm gonna bring him up, I'm like, let's talk about Twilight of the Gods. Let's talk about season 2. I want to talk about season 2 more with you. or
Yeah.
about old films, if you will. Um, but I love that you brought that up. That like even you, a Snyder fan, is appreciating what James Gunn is doing with this new version of the DC universe and taking it to new grounds, in my opinion. And I also want to give another shout out to Bobby Pills, the studio that's making the animation. Animation has not dropped at all. It's still kicking ass, and I appreciate that so much because sometimes um, it doesn't get the love it should get. And
Hmm.
I think we talked about it beforehand. Like this year has been a great year for shows, films, and animation specifically. Like nonstop, just kicking
You
ass
see,
with different styles and whatnot.
you see
And I
another
would add
thing
this
too.
season to the list.
You see another thing too, is that the WB is caring for the animation side of it. Before they weren't caring about animation at all. I know that as facts
Mm,
because Samuel, you said that on one of my friends' stream that the animation style wasn't as it's not a big budget that they used to don't get big budgets back then, but this
mm.
show probably would have had a substantial amount of budget, but and they're taking their time and they took the time and the care with it, and it shined like a star basically. That's the best way to put it. It's like it shined like a star, and it just shows that even though Warner Brothers stock is down, they can
Mm.
still pull the rabbit out the hat and prove that animation still don't suck. So
Yeah. Also, I want to give a shout out to the director of the episode. I believe his name was Matt Peters.
yeah,
So shout out to Matt Peters. Yeah, that's another good question. Do you think because we're getting so much other stuff, more shows and more movies, do you want the style of animation with the DCU to just be like Bobby Pills, like this style, or do you want it to go expand more in different styles and whatnot?
that's a hard question because I think this is working out for them. I would like to see this approach even more, but I think I wouldn't mind either. To be honest with you, I wouldn't mind different styles either. But as long as they're high quality, that's the main thing.
Yeah,
As long as they're high quality, that that is the focal point. If it's not in high quality, then realistically, you shouldn't be doing animation.
yeah. Um, I'm very how do I put this without not revealing too much? Mm, let's just say that I would. Well, let me ask you this: would you be opposed to them doing like, okay, let's say we are getting a season 2 of Commandos, but
Yeah,
first, before that, we see them in live action, and we see them whoever's left on the team, like we see them in live action, and then we come back to animation. Um, do you think because they've been promoting that like the actors for the most part who are voicing the characters in animation will play them in live action and vice versa? Do
yeah.
you want to see after this season? Do you want to see the Commandos more in live action, or do you want them to hang out more with animation
I think animations is their best strong suit than live action
right now?
right now. Yeah, I think you can't jump into live action straight away. Maybe build a foundation, build a bond between the characters, and then jump into um live action, because I think that's the best way to look at it. Because when I take a look at live action, and you, for example, right, what's a really good example? Marvel like as a Marvel character that we haven't got really good connection with Miss Marvel, right? She we didn't get a connection with her, which not Carol Danvers. I mean Kamala Khan, right? We jumped straight into her without actually knowing a back. We didn't get animation style or anything like that. It was just straight into live action, and you
Hmm.
didn't get that bondage, and you didn't get to feel the character or whatnot, right?
I
Even
don't know because I like the series. Like, and what was cool about it is that like
mhm,
it had moments with animation that I dug, and it was very much her imagination going and her artistry and what she likes to draw about all the spirit stuff. So I For me, I love Kamala Khan in the MCU, and I connected with her instantly, even though I didn't see her from birth. When I like the bits of her, and dare I say, I think she's undoubtedly the best part of the Marvel. So for me, I dug the Miss Marvel show and what Iman Vellani did.
Yes.
Yeah,
I mean,
but for you,
for me, I mean, I prefer build a trust in animation and focus on live action, right?
okay.
I think that's the best approach to deal with things. I mean, unless it's a list character like Superman, Batman, or Wonder Woman, that you have to go straight into live action. That's without a shadow of a doubt, right? But let's say B list, C list characters, or D list characters, that should be animation first, then bring it into live action. I think that way you build a foundation,
Hmm.
you build a trust between the characters and yourself, and it's something I would do.
Okay. Um. Huh. That's an interesting way to look at it. I think that it would have been a ball, and I hate even phrasing it this, but for a lot of general audience, it would have been a ballsy move to start off Superman in animation and then do live action because people still, for some odd reason, still think that animation is just for kids and whatnot. And they're not appreciating the stuff you can do, which I hope people are taking away from Commandos. Like, no, this could be for adults as well. And to put it in a more direct way, anime has been doing this for decades now. They've been ahead of the curve of it, where like it's not just for kids, it's for everybody. Um, so I would be intrigued to see that.
Mhm.
And but who knows? I mean, the dynamic duo movie that we're supposed to be getting, that's an animation one that's supposed to be coming down the pipeline.
It's a mixture of animation, live action.
And puppetry, right?
That Yeah,
Yeah.
so that I don't mind.
You don't
Right,
mind that? Okay, yeah.
that I don't mind because it's
Okay.
animation. It's
Okay.
animation. It's a form of animation, so that is fine.
Okay.
But what I mean is, but when I take a look at the A-list characters like Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, you've got to go straight up live action. You can't just go, oh, we're gonna make it like animation first, then push it into live action for A-list characters. It doesn't work like that. People are gonna question you on that for sure, right? I
Mm,
mean, if you that's why like I have like this feeling about James Gunn's approach for Superman. It's like I think he's gonna do really well with the movie, right? And I think the first trailer really blew my socks away,
yeah.
and I was very critical from James Gunn. I was like, if James Gunn don't critically blow my socks away with this first teaser trailer impression, I'll be the first one to say it. But he impressed me. So I was the first one to say, yeah, he impressed me big time. So I gotta give props to him on that.
Yeah, and kudos to that. But yeah, I think that I'm not afraid if some of these big temple, big IPs, if you will, characters start off animation, because I
Mhm.
trust that style so much that I think it could do as much, and I think it rivals to me live action easily. Like to me, and I kid with friends or not, but like I love Christopher Reeve Superman. I love what Henry did with the Superman character. That like to me still my favorite Superman movie, quote unquote, is The Iron Giant, and it's an animated film. And I'm very, very, very eager that hope that there's a balance to it. That it's not just all live action. Like do animation as well and level it out so they know that there's so much freshness and so much range and volume that you can do with the DCU onwards. So with this new era of DCU, I can't wait to see the Swamp Thing version in animation. I can't wait to see the what's another one? Supergirl's full on, not as a background thing that we see in a flashback in a vision, but like see her in animation. I can't wait to see um, Soups, Batman, Wonder Woman in full on animation. See how that plays out. But I think there's a pretty well balanced level playing field we can do with both live action and animation. And I think Jeffrey Durskine, the key blade master, says DC animation will always be top tier. The Tomorrowverse don't count. That was just bad. Hello. um, but even then, like I liked some of the stuff that I got out of the previous DC animated films. Like to me, um, Justice League Dark, the Constantine movie. Obviously, I mentioned it, Gotham by Gaslight. What's another one? Under the Red Hood were phenomenal films
Yeah,
that brought out the characters in new, fresh ways that I had not seen it up to that point, besides the books, if you will. But yeah, I'm very hopeful with where we're going with this show, with the DCU. Like, and again, it's a valid, very valid take people have with the running time of these episodes. And
yeah,
those were great. I agree, Jeffrey. Yeah, those were great projects in my opinion. And Batman Year One too. I think that I would love to spend double the amount of time per episode and just sit with these characters for each week. But I know that it's for some odd reason it's different with animation. But it's where we're at. I hope that changes. I hope we can start doing the time being spent in HBO shows like the Game of Thrones stuff, like Penguin, like Last of Us. I hope someone is willing to put the money up to be like, no, we're gonna do it with animation, and people are gonna have to just get on board with us and trust us that we can do this
yeah.
with this style, if you will. And yeah, I look back at it and like there's moments where like you see how a character's feeling with the bride looking at Alexi and knowing that something's off here. Like we're not. Why is he taking us away? And like Phosphorus and them catch up to it pretty quickly, but it's just moments of just a tilt, a look, her being like, I don't want to go through a shootout, but I'm gonna have to anyways. And oh well,
And
c'est la
he,
vie, if you will.
yeah, and
Um,
he does it, and they do it anyway. So it's like, yeah, I kind of get what you're saying. And can you imagine this live action though, like a or and live action series instead of a
eh,
animation? The
animation.
budget, yeah, it would have been really cool to see that in a series.
I'm glad that you brought that up because I don't want each project to be $100 million budgets, if you will. Like I want some movies to cost less than that. I want some to cost somewhere in the middle. I want the DC studios to be the to sit there and be like, we can make a $5 million project and a $10 million project and a $50 million project and $100 million project, and some that are a little bit greater than that because we've been seeing a lot of these films and shows have been upping up the budgets, if you will. Some warrant it, and some like good enough do deliver on that promise that it's a bankable worth chance doing. But I want us, and this is something that I've written down somewhere that I'm like, if I ever got to meet James Gunn and people behind these DC Studios projects, and I'm like, is there plans to, for example, do a show on cable network? And what I mean by that is like released on ABC, NBC, or CBS, if you will, or PBS, or whatever the hell. Is there plans to do a TV show, TV movies, if you will, not just the cinema and just television or strictly streaming? I wonder if they're trying to cover all across the board entertainment outlets, if you will. Something that I would have also loved to experience is what if they did Creature Commandos, but with Audible, much like the way they did the Sandman, and
Oh,
if they got to do
okay.
more with that stuff
Yeah,
and like make it like a radio show, if you will. So I hope that DCU can explore that angle and aren't afraid to
yeah.
try it out, and even do that also with the do that
Creature
with
Commander.
Elseworlds. Do that angle of it. I can't imagine. And again, we're living in this era where almost anything that's deep cut or very geeky or a lot of people don't know of can get the green lit to do it. Now, whether it actually finishes the project and it's out there is a whole other thing in this time period. But like, if Creature Commandos can be made, I feel like stuff like Challengers of the Unknown can be made. I feel like the Forever People. I feel like Commandy can be made and whatnot. Do you feel the same way,
I,
Teladia, that like now
yeah,
you're 5 weeks
the,
in, 4 weeks in with
mhm,
these characters and these stories, and you're
mhm.
seeing that like it's not just the League and maybe their side characters that are going to be presented to us, that like any and every corner of this damn
I,
universe and galaxies, if you will be covered to an extent or not.
I can see different obscure characters like Blue Beetle, Booster Gold. Um, I would also even say Mr. Terrific getting his own
Oh
show.
yeah, the movie. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because it'd be really cool to have Mr. Terrific, and I would also even put out there the Green Lantern Corps, have that as their own TV show, right? I know we're
Yeah.
getting Hal Jordan and John
John
Stewart
Stewart.
having it, but imagine um, what's the word I'm looking for? Um,
The other
not
Lantern Corps
the
members.
other the other Atlantic Corps members, Carl Rayner, the introduction of Carl Rayner, Guy Gardner, have them, the introduction of the Earth heroes of the Green Lantern Corps, bring them up through the ranks. It'd be really cool to have that type of feel. And can you imagine like as a TV show budget, it can be done. For example, a really good example of a space type, TV show is Doom Prophecy.
Mm.
But just imagine that type of budget for a Green Lantern Corps TV show with Carl Rayner, Guy Gardner, and so on. And you can introduce the Red Lanterns, you could introduce these Yellow Lanterns, and all sorts.
I am eagerly waiting to go see Oa in the DCU. I want to see what Oa looks like. I want to see um, uh, a lot of these a lot of the DC characters that are closer to Hal, John, and Kyle will be like. I can't wait to see them appear
Yeah.
in either movies or shows, and not just as background stuff, but just like characters fully fleshed that you can spend time with and be just as engaged as the stars of those projects, if you will. Jeffrey commented, anyone else think that the version of Clayface we saw was a clone of him? I know that in some comics he can make multiple versions of himself.
No, I don't
What do you
think that's.
think?
I don't think that's a clone of himself. It doesn't feel like it. If he was a
Yeah,
clone of himself, then we would have like seen a like the resemblance fizzling out, so to say. Like the clay model would have fizzled out, but we never saw that.
yeah. I think the most we got was just extensions of him, which you can see out him all over the damn living room, if you will. But I don't know. That's a good question. I know that's one of his abilities that can do that, and I'll say this: that I don't think it's out of the realm because, like I said, he's too good of a character to be a one-off. In my
Yeah,
opinion.
it won't be a one-off for sure.
Yeah. Um, I'm willing to put money down that either him or I think we talked about it in Council of Creators, which you can go watch every Wednesday on Chainsaw Reacts channel. Uh, that Clayface and Ra's al Ghul are big probabilities for the Brave and the Bold film. I think. What do you think?
Yeah, only time will tell, though. To be honest
Yeah.
with you,
Yeah.
the only time will tell um if James Gunn will be approach that direction. But I'm still excited. I'm still excited for what Creature Commandos has to offer. But I
Yeah.
hope the Creature Commandos season 2 is more episodes and same runtime, but more episodes. So I'm thinking 15 episodes at max.
Ooh. Okay.
A 15
Um,
episode season 2.
I could see that. It looked like he died. That's why I brought it up. TBD.
We,
TBD.
to be determined. We don't know.
We
Maybe James
don't
Gunn
know.
will do. Maybe James Gunn will do a panel at Comic Con next year of Creature Commandos, and they can talk about it.
Oh, whether it's at WonderCon or at San Diego, I can't wait to be part of that because that's it's again it's almost like when WCW was starting to rise up and it's like, oh, what are they bringing into the realm of comic books and superhero projects, if you will. So yeah, time will only tell, Jeffrey. I would say stay tuned with the series and see what happens. Um, but yeah, I love the show, man. Like again, 27, 22 minutes episodes, if you will, and yet I care about these folks. Like I want to see Nina and the bride be more like hang out more with like be like sisters. I want to
Yeah.
see Phosphorus and Weasel have to fight it off in a bar or somewhere and see how that dynamic of friendship goes. Like I love it when I don't know something that's part of a realm that I love, like pop culture and comic books, and I am invested in it, and it makes me want to seek out the material and see and learn more of these characters and whatnot. Like that's how you know the benchmark. That's how you know that something's hit a good stride, where like it's not enough that it's this show that I'm waiting for each week, or I'm listening to the music back over and over again. I want to know more about the bride in comics. I want to know more about Nina and Weasel and Frankenstein, if you will. But yeah, I think we're gonna be closing out the stream pretty soon right now. Do you have any final thoughts, Teladia, on
No, only
this
thing
week's
I can say,
episode, the
I
series thus
gotta say,
far?
people check it out, give it a watch. You make your own thoughts on it. I mean, don't like listen to other people's like saying if they, whether they like it or don't like it. You make your own thoughts on your own opinions on it, because that's the best way to put it. Because if you don't make your opinion on the show on your own, you won't really understand like how how to judge things really. Then you'll say, oh, well, for example, Teladia like this, maybe I should go and like this. Now I'm not saying that. I'm saying you make your own judgment on the show. You don't have to me to tell you this or anybody else to tell you this. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah. I think it's okay to hear thoughts and people's reviews on this stuff, but I always say that like the minimalist thing, regardless of what I feel or regardless of what Teladia feel, is that, and I think you and I can agree with, is that this show is worth checking out. This
Yeah,
show is definitely worth checking out, and then that's up to you if you want to stay and hang out with us, if you want to connect with these characters or not. Um, as much I'm saying that I'm strong about this, but like sure this has the James Gunn flavor, but I'm slowly seeing, dare I say, a matureness, if you will, in his writing, and not in the sense of like violence and sex and profanity. It's like no, like some humor, some jokes that come about, they come natural, and it's not just being thrown in for as violence, if you will, but like the stakes are being risen, the connection we have with the characters are being tight more, and us caring in the heart is coming out more than ever, if you will. And I think a big part of that was what he did with Suicide Squad, that led into parts of Peacemaker, because it's a very yuck joke, but it has heart to it. And then you go back to Volume 3, and that's very much a deep, sad as hell story. And then you come to Commandos, where like, I mean, to
yeah.
echo last week's episode by Sam Liu, like Weasel,
Weasel,
to
Sam
see
Lee,
to
yeah,
see
he
him,
just got to do it.
yeah, to see him get that much depth, it's just like it's moments like that that tells me that like anything is possible in the DCU. And there's characters that I know that are very um, what do they call it, generic, if you will, or so unknown that I can't wait to see somebody come approach James Gunn and pitch an idea and give life to the character that I think has the potential to blossom and become just as big as the heavy hitters like Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, in my opinion, or the Lanterns, if you will. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, like to me, here's a good example. To me, and you know me, Putalalia,
Yeah.
our combos in the background with other shows and like live stream reveal, that like I've been saying that I've been hunting down Animal Man by Grant Morrison. This character is unique, weird, and I feel like with the right person, with the right project writing, this character can be just as big as the big pillars and can go with depth and do so much stuff with
Yeah.
comic books and superhero related characters, if you will. That it's not just
One
about
hundred.
suiting up in the powers. There's more to it.
Yeah. There's more depth into it. So yeah, I feel for you, man.
Yeah. Jeffrey says, I love it so much. I love it so much how Dr. Dr. Phosphorus took out the tank. We brought up that dude had to go butt naked, even though we couldn't see anything, but he incinerated that tank and those soldiers like
Just
butter.
have there's one question I gotta know.
Go
How
for it.
does he pee?
I I don't know, and I don't think I want to know. I don't think I want to know. I'm like, hey man, obviously he can eat steak. I mean, he grilled it by his own hand in the first episode, so okay, he could eat that way. But I don't know where that shit or the other shit is coming out, and I don't want to know. I'm like, you know what? That's a TMI. That's do your thing, man. Like you
I'm
take
just
care
like
of that.
I just want you to mention that because I want to see your reaction to what I
Yeah, I'm
say.
like, I don't know, and I don't want to know. Like, I feel like that's something that might be revealed if we were at a party with him and we saw, we're like, wow, okay, that's how that happens. Okay, cool, good to know. Moving on. But yeah, that's gonna be it for um
Review.
our stream. I don't want to know TMI. Yep, exactly, Jeffrey. Taladia, thanks so much
Yeah,
for hanging out, man. I appreciate
no
it.
problem. Thanks for having me on.
Plug your channel, plug your stuff. Where can people find you, man?
Okay, you guys can check me out on YouTube at Teladia Plays, and I'm a gamer, reactioner, all different things, podcaster. I'm a huge DC fan, so if you like DC content, that is something I'm huge about for the gaming side and the reaction side. I'm going to be diving into Marvel Rivals because I'm a content creator for that. So I'll be diving into that, and also I'm going to be reacting to hopefully Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man animated show. So maybe I'll dive into that. I don't know yet. I have to see what things go.
Beautiful. You can catch us almost every week, depending on space and whatnot, on Council Creators. So go check out Chainsaw Reacts channel. Our friend Phil Unfiltered here was uh, he has his own podcast that you can catch tomorrow, I believe, at
Yes.
4, 3, 5 p.m. PST. I can be wrong, double check, but go check out his channel if you will. Go check out Lance Geek Drum's Party Nation streams every Tuesday, where sometimes I hang out there. If you like the discussion we bring into this stuff, and yeah, you can subscribe to my channel here at Ronan Unchained on YouTube, on Twitter, on TikTok, on all the socials. Covering this show, I'm covering Skeleton Crew. If you're a Star Wars fan, and I have a lot of, how do I put it? I have a lot of iron in the fire. There's a lot of stuff I'm going to be doing next year, and I hope that I can provide as much as I can. And I want to reach 1,000 subs before New Year's Day, folks. I
Let's,
want to get,
let's do this.
I want to finish this year with 1,000 subs and be like, yeah, I did it, but job's not finished because I want more, and I have a lot of ambitions, a lot of crazy ideas I want to do to bring into the medium. So yeah, hopefully you enjoy our talks. This was a fun Commandos chat episode. And I'm going to close this out by saluting to this chapter of the DCU that I think it's been delivering on said promise. So take care, y'all. But to quote the Bride of Frankenstein,
to a new world of gods and monsters.